Well, good morning. Here we are in the basement here at the club, and you'll see this mess right here on the left. It's a bunch of data cables and coax cables and whatnot that are kind of all just terminated right here, and it's kind of a mess, and been putting up with it for a number of years, and I finally decided that it was time to get around to putting some organization to it. So what we're going to do is we've put a backer board behind there. You'll see that white piece of plywood that we've nailed to the cinder block there with some Ramset power loads. So we got that put there, and then we're going to start use that as the platform on which to secure and hang all the data components, and then below it is where we're going to put some of our video terminals and what have you and connections. And to start the data piece, we've got right here a 12 unit rack cabinet, and then we've got a patch panel that's going to go on the top there. Actually, that's the back side of it, front side. And that's what the front side looks like. So all that stuff's going to go in there. So we've got a patch panel that we're going to start on the top, and then we've got a 24-port router, or switch rather, 24-port switch that we'll use to connect everything. I'm not sure exactly how many Cat5 terminations I have here, but there's quite a few. So there's probably at least, I'm going to guess, probably 20. So 24 should serve us fine. We can always add to it later if need be. And then we've got a, like I said, a 24-port switch we're going to use. We've got a 10-port power strip that's going to fit in there. And then I've also got a little device that allows you to transmit phone and data on the same Cat5 cable that's going to go in there. And what that does is it uses the four middle pairs or the two middle pairs, 4 wires, to transmit the data, and then on the outside pairs can be used for voice, because when you're transmitting data you only use 4 wires anyway, so the outside 2 wires are kind of dead. So anyway, this takes advantage of those. We're going to get that going, and then so we'll start going to start organizing. I'm just going to start kind of parsing them together, or taking them apart and kind of organizing all these cables so we can start. The first thing we'll do is hang the relay rack, and then we'll start putting the punch down on the patch panels. I'll keep it posted. You'll see right there is a punch down block, which was where the telephone came in, and all those Cat5 cables that had telephone service on them went to the home runs up to the various rooms and whatnot. So we're going to take that down because we won't need that anymore, and we'll use our the little device I'd mentioned a moment ago. Okay, you know what they say, the job goes much easier if you have the right tools, and this little tool right here is a Klein tester for video and data circuits, or telephone circuits. And what it has is these little deals right here, you can see. You put those in the receptacle at one end of the cable, and then you can come back here and you can find it. It'll tell you which one it is on the other end of the cable. So what I just did is there was a cable here going into that switch right there that I didn't understand where it, exactly where it terminated. So I put one of these in there, and voila, it tells me where it ID'd. So if you see right there on the screen, it says that cable that I'm plugged into right there goes to the little remote thing for number 1. You can see, barely see it, but anyway, it works great. Santa Claus was on board with this project and brought these for me for Christmas. Nice job, Santa. Okay, we've got our rack mounted up here, and we got the patch panel up there. I've got it turned around backwards so we can punch down those cables coming over there, and I've kind of organized the cables just a bit so that the ones that had the longer pigtails are on the left, and kind of so on and so forth, because some of them are a shade shorter than others. So I kind of put those on the right hand side, so I'll have a little more room to play with. And so we're going to go ahead and trim those up and get them punched down, and then kind of put the cable organizers on there and flop that patch panel back around, and then we'll start the next phase. Okay, we're going to do a little update here. We got our rack up there. We've got the all the punch down blocks. Those are all done here. We put our switch in, 24 port switch, and our power strip. The data telephone module is going to go right here, and then we'll put a blank filler strip in here, and down here will be where the modem and router and the telephone adapter will go in there. So we'll keep you posted. More to come on that. Okay, here we are. We got things pretty well lit up. We went out and picked up a new router. It's a gigabit router, so a little faster than the other one was in here. For if you got fast internet, you don't want to slow it down with something, an old router. And one I had was probably, gosh, 15 years old maybe, so it was pretty old. Anyway, so it made a big difference. And you'll see up here, that's the telephone module that I got in there. Only got it hooked up with 3 rooms, which is the only places I have corded telephones. So I pretty much use cordless phones around the house. But I got a few more runs that I got to connect, basically in bedrooms that we don't really use anyway. So we're pretty good with the data, and now we're going to start the coax. So more to come on that. Okay, we've got our project pretty well wrapped up. I'm going to give you kind of the overview here. We've got a couple little things that in conducting of testing, we found a couple components that I bought that are defective, so we'll point those out later. So let's kind of take it from the top here. I'll go up here and give you a bird's eye view here. So this is my data rack, and at the top we'll just kind of go through the components. So up here, right here, this piece along here is a 24 port patch panel, and that's where all of the Cat5 cables from around the house are terminated onto the back of that. We talked about that earlier in terms of the punch down, and so all that's completed. This little doodad right here allows you to distribute data and telephone over the same Cat5 cable, and you could probably cobble together a workaround, but this works pretty nice in terms of kind of keeping it nice and neat. And basically what you do is that in the destination room, you take one of the pairs off that's not used for data, at least on it does slow down your data just a shade, but not noticeable to most folks. And you take off a pair and use that for the tip and ring on the telephone, and then the other pairs remain and support the data. Down here, this piece right here across is a 24 port gigabit switch, and what that does is you bring your internet into one place on the switch, and it distributes it out to wherever you want to have internet by these patch cables. So it takes them up into the patch panel. All right, and you'll see here the green lights indicate a place where there's gigabit Ethernet going, and it's basically just to the 2 computers that are directly connected to them, because a couple of routers and other places the equipment on the other end isn't gigabit compatible. So that's the story there. We've got a rack mounted power strip. So behind this is where all the items are plugged in, and you go down here and we got a little filler strip to round that out. Down here is the cable modem, and this is a new router that we purchased, a gigabit network router, and dual band, so that it's a little faster around the house. And right here, you can't see it, but that's the telephone adapter, and that's what brings the telephone off of the internet up into the wires right here to distribute out in the rooms. So that's kind of the data world. And you go down here to the video world, and what we've done up here is we've terminated all of the coax that are coming in from all the various rooms. We've got these barrel connectors here, and there's actually, I misestimated, there's two coax that aren't currently terminated, and so I've got another one of these on order that we'll put in right here and wrap these up. And then down here is the multi-switch coming in from the satellite, and you'll see I've got the distribution comes up here into the rooms where there are actually satellite DirecTV boxes going out. And then I've got a couple of leads you'll see down here, and those come from a couple of the boxes where I've split it and bring it back so that I can actually watch TV in a couple of rooms where I don't have boxes, utilizing the signal on the box. So what I've done is I've got two splitters, and this splitter, one of these went bad. It was defective. I noticed a poor signal coming into the TVs and bypassed it, and I found another one that's not quite the same that works fine. So I'm going to try to get another one of these to go right in here so it'll look a little bit better instead of cobbled together. And then each of these come up to an AB switch, and these go to a TV in a couple of spots where I can watch it where I don't have to have a box, and then I can select between either cable box. This is one up in the sunroom, and then this side is down here in the basement. So you can, it's kind of handy actually, I can watch two football games at the same time on different TVs here in the basement, so that's kind of handy. And one of these, there was supposed to be another one of these right here to bring these in and go up to this TV or this lead up here, but it was defective also. So we're going to wrap those up, and but it looks a lot better and a lot neater, and everything's tested and works as it should. So hope you enjoyed the video.